So recently I performed some pole routines at a drag show, which is probably the coolest sentence I could imagine saying, and it got me thinking, do I have a distinct pole style? Did the people in the audience immediately clock, oh, she's the funny but strong one? Do I stand out from the sea of pole dancers? There definitely are folks with iconic pole styles, and I thought it might be fun to try their styles on for a day. I asked my Instagram followers for suggestions of pole dancers with distinct and unique styles, and I chose 7 of them to try out. I will say a lot of what you'll see them do is completely out of my skill set, so I'm gonna modify as I try. One more thing, part of what makes these pole dancers distinct is their aesthetic, their clothes, their lighting, their editing and filming style, so I'm gonna do my best to imitate that as well. I'll put everyone's Instagram handles in the info box, and I will warn you that you'll have to search their full names because it looks like almost everyone is shadow banned. Fun! On to our most popular request, sammypicone. One of my followers called her the queen of flowiness, and I would agree. Her style is very long, languid movements, effortlessly flowing from one trick to the next. I might call it ooey gooey if that phrase didn't disgust me. She most often wears tiny bikinis and thongs and films in bright, clean studio spaces with sunshine spilling over her freckly skin. She's extremely strong, but never muscles her way into a move like some Kelseys I know, so that's going to be the trick here. I chose this video specifically because she's going from a Jasmine entrance to a snowflake to a Superman down to the floor. These are all tricks I can do. She's not high up in the air or inverting at all. She's not even wearing heels. And I know I'm gonna have a hell of a time with this. Let's see how I do. So she hooks her inside leg and lifts up, like I would if I were getting into a Jasmine. She holds a cute little snowflake shape, and then... Wait. How is she a Superman? I consulted her video. What? Okay. So she's here. She pushes off into this, and then brings this leg up. Too much spinning! Is that how her legs are? But then how is she getting into, ow, Jesus. Did you guys notice my new hair? That's like black with pops of purple. It's kind of like an oil spill. No, I'm not stalling. I'm gonna do it. It's frustrating to not have a definitive point A, point B, point C, you're in the trick. This flow stuff, it's like the magic where it's suddenly one leg is in a different spot and you didn't even notice how it got there. And now you have to figure out how it got there. And this is probably something that feels innate to her body, but it doesn't feel innate to mine, Samantha. I truly thought starting the video with sammypicone would be a hit. I'd appease the Sammy fans and quickly bust out a cute flow. How is something that looks so graceful so technically difficult? I chose the one video of hers that looked possible. At this point, I started to lose my mind slightly. Oh my god! Wow, so pretty. Look how high my arms are. Look how nice my legs are. Oh, is the other leg on now too? Wow, neat. She's an expert. Why do you think you'll be able to do it in 20 minutes? You know that thing where you like you can tell that you're about to cry? Me neither. I actually had to try again a week later because there's no way I can try to emulate the queen of flow while in a spiky emotional mood. Hi, Sammy. I'm really sorry I lost my temper with you earlier. I was just a little mad that You make it look so easy, and it's not. But look, I went out and bought a top like the one you've got, Target clearance. That makes me feel good. Makes me feel peaceful. So good that all right, I'm sneaking up on it. That didn't work. Even in a better headspace, I just couldn't figure out that leg transition. So I figured it was time to modify and accept that maybe I cannot do what the Queen of Flow can do. I'm just gonna have to film this. I'm just gonna have to film this because if I don't, this video is not gonna get made for like 3 years. I know you wouldn't want that, Sammy. Like I said, for each pole artist, I'm going to do my best to directly imitate their video, including lighting, outfits, filming angle, etc. Sammy has lovely natural light coming in from a window on the side. I have an ugly grill right in the frame. There's a reason one of us has more than 400,000 followers, okay? Let's have a look at my best attempt. We are moving on to polina.larovski, the founder of #ExoticKrumpStyle. Google says krump is a style of dancing to popular music characterized by rapid, exaggerated movements of the arms and legs, known for being aggressive in its expression. It looks like Polina's definition of exotic krump lines up with the rapid and aggressive parts of that definition because she seems to hit every beat of the music, often stomping in her heels. Generally, the word that comes to mind is hard. I chose this particular video because it seemed more about the attitude than nailing every single movement. She's kicking, stomping, and twisting in giant heels, a sweater and sweatpants, filmed at a low, close angle with a dramatic black and white filter thrown over it for good measure. Let's see how I do. I really do not ever do exotic style, and I find it very unnatural, so I tested out the moves in my bare feet first, which is almost pointless since exotic style is all about the heels. So I opened up my brand new pair of red pleaser boots I ordered a few weeks ago but never got around to using. Again, brand new. Hey, pleasers! I just opened my package of these shoes. The heel is split. Can you see that? That this, like, fabric is peeling away here? Dude, I've not even worn these once. With the shoes already broken in, because they were broken, I decided to try the moves for real. She starts with a toe tap, then a quick slide, then this little hop thing in front of the pole that felt like I was dancing a jig. I pretty quickly started to have fun with just making noise with my boots. Doing these powerful moves felt really good. Especially after my struggle with Sammy, having the chance to move quickly and forcefully was cool. Except, as you can tell, my idea of quickly is about half the speed that it's supposed to be. Here's where I sort of gave up on the idea of perfection and decided to try to emulate, not directly imitate. There wasn't too much setup because this video has that black and white filter, so I put on a purple sweatshirt to go with my green sweatpants. I look like the reverse Hulk. Hoping that the filter would forgive that fashion crime, and played around with the low angle. Am I in the shot? Oh yeah. Am I in the shot? Am I in the shot? Ooh, ooh, am I in the shot? Let's see my best attempt. Next, we have aerial.alexia. Her style is strength-based tricks, which she performs almost fully clothed, wearing tennis shoes, in a brightly lit studio with flashing colorful lights and awesome Hello Kitty graffiti on the walls. About the fully clothed thing, I mean it. Here she is doing an inside leg hang on a chrome pole in sweatpants. How? These are the types of videos that always make men comment, "I knew y'all didn't have to take your clothes off. I knew it was a skill issue." Anyway, her signature move is a one-arm hold for absolute ages on spin pole. I chose this video because she's using a silicone pole, which would be the only thing that might give me a chance to do a single arm spin on spin pole. And I like the aesthetic of her studio, her outfit, and her very spinny spin. Let's see how I do. Now, there wasn't anything to learn here. I just needed to do a single arm spin. I can kind of do them on static, but on spin... Oh no, oh no. I mean, I didn't have high hopes. I thought maybe something magical would happen, I guess. Now get ready to yell because I'm busting out everyone's favorite guest star on this channel, the pole wrap! Aerial.alexia is using a silicone pole. I'm putting a silicone wrap on my pole. Surely this will help me do her classic single-arm spin. Forget the fact that she's extremely petite and I probably have 5 inches and 60 pounds on her. Anyway, the pole wrap was just as annoying as it always is. Someone once left me a nasty comment saying, "Let's not blame the pole wrap for you putting it on wrong." And you know, maybe they're right. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Her pole studio has this adorable Hello Kitty graffiti on the walls, so I printed out some coloring pages, had a wonderful time coloring them, and hung them up. Yes, they're barely visible on camera. I know. Her studio also has fuzzy pink walls and soft blue light, so I set up pink and blue lights. Okay, looking like a studio in Vegas. Looking cool. That lumpy. This, I'm going insane already. Let me ask you, have you ever seen me wear denim? That's because I don't. It's not stretchy enough. I don't really like the way it looks. I can't believe I just put on my most uncomfortable clothing to pole dance. Also, she wears her jeans unbuttoned. Time to try the pole wrap. Oh, no shot, dude. No shot. I can't even grab that. Oh. Basically what I did is I made it twice as thick and impossible to grab. So yeah, I had to redo the wrap. As if that was the problem all along. I finally realized I was just gonna have to modify this into a two-handed spin. I hadn't even gotten past the first second of her video. When I finally did and tried to put my arms into position for the split grip airwalk she does, I couldn't do it. I tried filming it vertically just to see if it looked anything like hers. It was really hard not to spin at warp speed since
we'll just have to be content with what we can do. Oh my god.
Well, I know it won't be perfect, but let's see my best attempt. Next up, we have Mityastaev, our first male pole dancer of the video. His style is a fusion of traditional dance forms like ballroom and tango with pole dancing, and he usually wears his long blonde hair up in a bun or ponytail while wearing short dresses and heels. I selected this video of him doing sultry, quick-moving tango steps with an orangey spotlight casting a dramatic shadow onto the wall behind him because I have always wanted to try treating the pole like a dance partner, like he's doing here. And I love a good dramatic lighting moment. Let's see how I do.
Oh. Hey, stranger. Didn't see there. Looking tall.
I tried a couple of steps, but my bare feet stuck to the floor. With socks on, I could slip and slide my way through the prancing-like footwork, which was super fun even if I lacked the elegance he's got. It reminded me of watching a Broadway musical, then spending the next week pretending I can do the choreography. Plus, I'm much more comfortable with an inanimate pole as a dance partner than, like, a real man. Hey, buddy, my eyes are up here. I did consult his video, of course, but in this case, I wasn't really trying to nail a certain move, more like embody a style of movement. Though, like everything having to do with pole, there were surprising moments of pain.
Oh, that's my bad toe. Oh, God.
Enough messing around in socks. Time for heels. But not pleasers. I got these when I played Marilyn Monroe at a party once.
Wow, these are terrible. These are like way worse than pleasers. Ugh.
Despite the discomfort, it felt like these little heels took me from playtime to serious tango time. Like, now I am a sexy, jilted lover who just needs to dance out her deep, sexy emotions.
Except without the this. Like a prancing pony.
Okay, so maybe it's still not that serious.
Do slowly, sexily.
I did notice that as my legs got into the tango mood, my arms were still not quite on the same page.
What is this? What is this doing?
How are 2-inch heels so much less comfortable than 7-inch ones? Anyway, time for lights. As my dad dialed in our best approximation of the moody, orangey spotlight situation, I put on a spaghetti strap top tucked into flowy shorts, a paltry copy of Mitya's pretty dress, plus some earrings you can't even see. Once we set up my camera to film vertically, there was some adjusting to do with the framing, like the fact I wasn't in it, and the lighting. Now let's see my best attempt. Up next, we have Floating Through Spaces, aka Tony, who, like Sammypicone, is all about flowing effortlessly in clean, well-lit studio spaces. However, what sets her apart is her focus on heel edge work, something I have never tried. Here's the video I chose. As she moves in her 8 or 9-inch heels, she doesn't just keep her toes pointed. She flexes her feet sometimes or turns her ankles so that she's balancing and moving on different parts of the shoe. Just the stiletto, just the side. That's what's known as edge work. I personally think it's ugly. Not saying this creator is ugly or what she's doing is ugly. That's why I specifically wanted to imitate her, because I need to know what I'm talking about before I try to make a judgment call. So let's see how I do. First, I thoroughly warmed up my ankles because this is a very weird way to move them. Then I put on my 7-inch pleasers and...
Pleaser? I hardly know her.
In general, I've become pretty comfortable and confident in my pleasers. See also the exotic krump part? I even wore them for my routine at that drag show. But that's walking on them normally. How does it feel to purposefully do it wrong?
Ew. Ew. No, that does not feel right. It's not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it anyway.
Well, it feels like asking to break an ankle mostly.
I'm on the
As for the specific moves that Tony does, she frequently does this cool single-arm pirouette and lift, and then she starts turning on her stiletto.
Wait! Oh my god, she lets her hands completely go. What? Here, twirls on them. I don't... How is she letting both hands go? I don't even... How do you lead with just the...
She also does a pretty back arch with her weight only in the box or the front of the heels.
I'm sure it looks exactly like hers.
I then tried to figure out what I took to calling leg chases.
She's not making a shoulder mount though. What is she doing? This leg chase.
Tony's video has a cut to her on the floor, and then she gracefully pulls herself up, sliding on the tip of the shoes.
Oh my god, okay. Why do I do this sport? It's not for me. Oh my god. Please observe all of these little scratch marks now.
I opened the blinds to let in natural light like in Tony's studio, and to give the neighbors a show, and put on these little garter bottoms I've got because they were the most similar thing I have to her lovely outfits. I gave myself a pep talk and a few prep spins. Also, just to note, edge work is loud.
No, you know that sucked. That sucked and you know it.
Let's see my best attempt. Our penultimate pole dancer is Kaya.blum, whose style is full of what I would describe as isolations, moving just one limb or sometimes even just one part of a limb at a time, very deliberately. Her videos are often lit with dramatic and moody low lighting, and she wears a lot of textures like fringes and fishnets. I chose this video where she's wearing sunglasses, lit only from above, and performing odd isolation-heavy floor work. Mostly because I wanted to wear my sunglasses inside, and I feel super uncomfortable with floor work, so I figured I should try it out and get out of my comfort zone. Watching this back, I'm realizing how long it is, how much I tried to cram into one training session. Spoiler alert, I will not do about 60% of these moves despite thinking I can remember them all. Let's see how I do. I came into this thinking that I suck at floor work and isolation type movements, so you'll see me goof around a bunch, deflecting my discomfort with self-conscious humor. But actually, I think I was being hard on myself. I do have belly dancing experience, which involves a lot of deliberate muscle isolation, and I can actually see that reflected here. Of course, Kaya is an intimidating person to try to imitate.
Immediately. Immediately I know I'm gonna look stupid. Okay. So it's like crawl, back, swing to this. I'm certain that's not it. That twist up. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, sorry. Are you distracted right now? She's not wearing knee pads, by the way. I am. Arms, arms, knees, legs, arms, hunch, worm, back.
Yes, saying each body part out loud did help me remember to isolate them. Here's the part I felt weirdest about. You lie on your side, then swing your legs open, then push on your knee. It seemed suspiciously like it was supposed to be sexy, but I was not feeling that. Here's where I should tell you, I couldn't do any of these things to music for fear of the copyright strikes, so you'll see me practice the next few things, then completely forget about most of them later because they had no association with anything in my brain.
Bring it around town. Leave. Lunch. Bam. Breakfast just served.
Enjoy this standing leg work now, because you won't see it in my attempt.
She hits a little split in the air, which looks just like this.
To really start channeling Kaya, I had to put on my very silly outfit.
It's called Fashion Sweaty. Look it up.
Yeah, so I only had this frilly, multicolored skirt. Not the same vibe Kaya has, but at least I had fishnets and sunglasses. To create the dramatic lighting, my dad gaff-taped a flashlight to the top of the pole. I kept worrying it would fall on my head, but it was fine. And damn, did this lighting suddenly take me from, ooh, I'm not sure if I can do this, to look at my dramatic and sexily lit muscles. Who cares if I'm doing it right? In my first attempt, I did manage to isolate myself right out of the light. Well, again, forgetting half of the moves. But, oh well. Let's see my best attempt. Finally, we have Kev Loco Art, aka Kevin Evasani, and please don't laugh guys when you see how far away I am from being able to actually imitate his style, which is a fusion of power pole and breakdancing. He often wears colorful baggy clothing and sneakers, and will throw in a few breakdancing moves between his pole passes that are always gravity-defying. Plus he tends to grin when he's really feeling the music. Now, most of his style is out of my ability to imitate, but I thought I'd give this video a whirl because it has the fewest amount of Aishas and iron X's, and he just seems so joyful as he spins around the static pole.
You got it all inside of you. Feel it to be true. And when you dance,
Let's see how I do.
What's up, pole? Bang! No, I'm trying to do salsa again. Oh my god, this is gonna be embarrassing.
Like with kaya.blum, right away I got self-conscious and kept checking on Kevin's video just to assure myself, yep, I don't look anything like him. And remember, of course I don't. He's an expert.
Oh man, oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, I'm making it so awkward. It should just be like a fun, freestyle, you know?
But while Kevin is indeed technically proficient, he's all about embodying joy. I am aware I am an awkward, extremely Caucasian gal, but when I started to lean into that and just let myself have fun, I started getting into it. I actually just edited out a lot of me putting myself down because that's not the vibe I want to bring when I'm trying to channel such a fun pole dancer. I moved on to trying to perfect this cool spin he does.
Oh. So you can go, bam. You see how I did that? Bam. God, is this thing even on?
Or did it turn off out of mercy?
Okay, here's the thing I'm pretty sure I cannot do. He kind of like spins around and goes under his own arm. I don't think that I have that mobility, or frankly, the desire to do a power move like that on a non-screwed in pole. So I might just throw another little half spin, and then that lets him end up doing a little, you know. I think my hip hop skill is very akin to like the she's really good. Here we are, we're sitting in the car. I want you to show me if you can get far. Step on the gas, step on the gas, step on the brake.
I don't know why it surprised me that the breakdancer would have some very technically precise spins in his freestyles, but I spent a lot of time puzzling out arm placement. He just launches himself into these flips and spins and twists, and I felt like I was going to lose my rotator cuff.
He untwists it. What? He's reaching down, which lets him end up in just like a little low spin. Which is clearly what I just did there. He makes it look so easy. Here's where it's gonna look stupid. I know it hasn't yet. He pushes up into a, oh my God, into like one of these. He pushes up into one of these and then uses the pull to fucking kick himself around into, you ready for this? Breakdance! I brought the camera down so you can really enjoy my attempts at this.
So Kevin ends with this breakdance move, sort of an elbow stand hold. It was hard.
Oh no! Okay. How do you... Bam.
Time to get dressed and try the thing.
Do I look as cool as Kevin? You are not allowed to be honest. She was in the house. She was in the house. I don't like it.
My Kevin-inspired baggy pants and shirt and tennis shoes helped me get into the spirit of dance. I almost even had a breakthrough with the one tricky move.
Is it disarmed? Is that what I'm... Wait. No.
And like I said, once I let go of my ego, I started having a really fun time.
Okay, let's do this. All right, Kevin. Need some of your energy right now. Come on, give it to me.
I don't know if my inner child has always wanted to be a breakdancer, but having a big smile on my face while trying these powerful hip-hop tricks healed something in my heart.
I'm sure that looked so silly, but that actually felt really fun.
Let's see my best attempt.
You got it all inside of you. Feel it to be true.
This project revitalized my interest in pole at a time when it was in critical condition. I had a blast trying to match these aesthetics and learning new styles, even when it was embarrassing. What do you think? Do you know any other super distinct pole dancers you want me to try to imitate? And don't forget to follow these creators. Bye!